that's good to know. I know. He's a good guy.
Show your special tissue box.
This is, yeah, because my nose started. And I was like, for my first council, I was like, oh my God, my nose is started. Ever since I got COVID, my nose was just like.
Halfway through the meeting, I'll have a diabetic
I had to have my
shutdown.
tissue.
Look
Look at me, look at me.
Okay, it's 6:30, and I will call the meeting to order. This is the regular American Canyon Fire Protection District Board meeting for January 28th, 2025. Please join me as we rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay. So please be seated and roll call, please.
Board Member Cruz,
Here.
Board Member Lamatino,
Here.
Board Member Oro,
Here.
Vice Chair Joseph,
Here.
Chair Washington.
Here. Mr. Ross, can you please report on closed session?
Chair, board members, members of the public, you convened in open at 5:31 p.m. and after ascertaining no public comments on matters agendized for closed, adjourned to close, same time period, concluded at 6:27. I'll do a written report upon return from closed session consistent with 54.
Recording in progress.
1B. That would conclude the report, unless there are questions.
Any question from council? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Ross. We'll move forward on our proclamation and presentation, which is item number 3. Proclamation for the month of February as American Heart Month. And do we have somebody to receive the proclamation?
Yes, Chair. Unfortunately, Ms. Dodson had a schedule conflict. She's unable to attend, so Ms. Preventure will be standing in her place to receive the proclamation.
Okay. You want to go to the podium? Okay, proclamation for the month of February 2025 in the American Canyon Fire Protection District as American Heart Month. Whereas February is nationally recognized as American Heart Month, a time to raise awareness about the importance of health and prevention for cardiovascular disease. And whereas cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the United States, claiming over 700,000 lives each year. And whereas the American Canyon Fire Protection District is committed to protecting the health and safety of our community and recognizes the crucial role that early intervention and prevention play in reducing the burden of heart disease. And whereas the American Canyon Fire Protection District actively promotes heart health through community education programs, CPR training, and public awareness campaigns. And whereas if it is appropriate to increase awareness of the value of CPR training and to encourage placement of AEDs in places where our public gathers, and whereas chances of survival are increased dramatically if CPR and AED resources are available and utilized within the first 3 to 7 minutes after a sudden cardiac arrest. And whereas by working together, we can empower individuals to take charge of their heart health and make informed choices to reduce their risk of cardiovascular disease. Whereas in 2024, the American Canyon Fire Protection District educated community members, including high school freshman students and over 60 youth football players and coaches on hand. On hand for CPR. This method, recommended by the American Heart Association, can greatly increase the chance of survival in treating adults, and whereas the American Canyon Fire Protection District continues to work where their citizens live, work, shop, and play. Heart safe and a community where the link of the chain of survival are in place. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Pierre Washington, Chair of the Board of the Directors of American Canyon Fire Protection District, hereby proclaim the month of February 2025 as American Heart Month and urge all residents to learn the risks of cardiovascular disease, to know their numbers, to stay fit through exercise and good nutrition, to know the signs of stroke, heart attack, sudden cardiac arrest, to learn critical life-saving skills such as CPR and AED use, to call 911 to act in time when cardiovascular emergencies occur. And we'll give you this. I just signed it. Thank you. And now at this time, I'd like to open public comment for items not on tonight's agenda. Do we have any public comments? No, not on online either?
No.
Okay. Since there's no public comment, I'd like to close public comment and return to the council for any recommended agenda changes.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion, we approve the consent calendar.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you for the second. Get a roll call, please.
Yes.
Board Member Lamatina,
Yes.
Board Member Oro,
Yes.
Vice Chair Joseph,
Yes.
Chair Washington.
Yes. Okay, for public hearing, there's no public hearing on the agenda for tonight. The business, we have item number 8, the master plan update. Chief Bellier.
Thank you, Chair and members of the board. As you may recall, back in 2002, we secured a consultant, AP Triton, to develop a master plan for the fire district. The value of this master plan is it provided both short, midterm, and long-term recommendations. Really, in my opinion, helped give us a path forward for the district, especially in the current time where the district is experiencing population growth within the city of American Canyon and adjoining areas. So as past practice, I'd like to refresh and provide the board an update on the master plan, typically every January, because we do believe in this document is such a valuable tool. We want to make sure that it stays on the forefront, and we are talking about what we've accomplished over the last year, and also to help the public know that may be watching this that we do have a plan to move forward, and we are working incrementally to achieve compliance or completion with the recommendations that were provided in the master plan. So obviously we are working within our financial constraints as well as other constraints, but do believe that we do have another a good update for you tonight that shows that we are working diligently towards the completion of all the recommendations in the master plan. If you can go to the next slide, please. So again, just as a recap, we used AP Triton. They used the basis for their master plan recommendations is based off recommendations of the Center for Public Safety Excellence, as well as the Community Risk Assessment, Standards of Covered. And as I mentioned earlier, it was approved and adopted by the board in October of 2022. Next slide, please. We talked, there were both short, midterm, and long-term strategies. Next slide, please. So this slide here shows us both the identified short-term, midterm, and long-term strategies, and then where we are with completion. So just over 50% of the short-term, just under 50% on the midterm, and then a little bit lower on the long-term strategies. And quite honestly, the long-term strategies that we will talk about later in the presentation are some of the strategies that had the most financial impact to the fire district. So we have completed, like I said, a little over 50% of the short term. We've established a facility life safety inspection program. In addition to that, we've also implemented technology to help us with that. One of the biggest implementations that we have put into play is a system called Check It. It allows us to streamline our inspections, our repair process, generates work orders, and then allows us as a budgeting tool to look at historical records of what we're expending on fleet maintenance or facility maintenance. And it has really helped us as you know, we've established a 10-year capital improvement program. We've been able to use the Check It program to help us with that. We've also established and formalized the safety committee within the district. Chief Campbell is the lead on that, as well as members of the district. We've updated our website, including some financial and board action information, and we're actually now in progress of a complete upgrade and overhaul to our district website, which we're very excited about. We're anticipating hopefully completion in the next several months, but it will be vastly different than what you currently see in our website today. Develop a quality control process for our incident reporting. Part of that has also been the implementation of new technology through a program called ESO, where it's a much more intuitive, user-friendly incident reporting software. We're able to pull a lot of important statistical data from that, and then we have a quality assurance process in place as well to ensure that the information being put in the reports are accurate and to industry standards. The other part of the fire documentation is this is now the same program that we use for our patient care reporting platform, ESO. So again, instead of using two dissimilar systems, we now use the same system, very much more intuitive and much easier for our crews to input the data that we need into this reporting software. This was a simple one, but also this was an easy one, just the publishing and placing on the website the designated infection control officer's name and contact information. And then I think this was another one that was actually a pretty big lift, but we're able to actually leverage the master plan study for this, but was the update of our impact fees and the subsequent Nexus study that actually provided the justification for the increase in fees. As you may recall, for the longest time, the district was relying on a voter-approved special tax on development. It was approved back in, I believe, 1986, 1987. In today's dollars, it was roughly 28 cents a square foot for residential development. Through the Nexus study, and we actually were able to determine that our impact fees should be closer, just slightly over now with the annual CPI of $1 a square feet. So that's important for us because those impact fees are what we use to help fund our one-time capital purchases. So being able to get that fee study done and implemented is part of also the long-term strategy of fiscal sustainability for the district. Next slide, please. In progress, obviously, one of the recommendations was the implementation of 3 battalion chiefs. To date, due to fiscal constraints, we have 2 of the 3 positions filled. They recommend or consider adding an administrative staff support member. We're currently in progress of a comp and class study for our 2 incumbent positions, reviewing the job descriptions as well, because as you know, both our fire administrative assistants have the same job title, same job description, but their roles and responsibilities are vastly different. So we're looking at that, trying to right-side that piece of the administrative side of the district. So that is in progress. To date, we have not taken action yet, but there was a recommendation for replacing the sidewalk in front of Stool 211. Another recommendation was developing expanded community risk reduction program. That really looks at a lot of different avenues, and while there's always room to improve, we have made strides. We were able to leverage some relationships with Napa Community Firewise Foundation, secure approximately $200,000 over the course of 2 fiscal years to help fund the sheep grazing program to reduce the wildland fuel loads around the city. We're currently in progress and working with County OES as well on the multi-hazard incident mitigation plan. This will be the first time the district has an annex in it. And what the importance of that program is it potentially opens the door for grant funding for other community risk reduction programs. There was a recommendation to consider including updating policies regarding our fiscal policies. As you know, we've been in about a year-long process of going through systematically and actually updating all the policies within the fire district. Again, that is evident on your consent calendar where we had some new policies that were updated and approved subsequently by the board tonight. Upgrading the 2 Lucas devices. We have some dissimilar Lucas devices, and in simple terms, what the Lucas device is it's an automated chest compression delivery system for CPR calls. So we're actually, we had tried, unfortunately unsuccessfully for 2 years for grant funding. They're reasonably expensive devices. So we're now looking at our capital improvement plan and some other avenues for helping to potentially fund the purchase of the 2, whether it is split between 2 fiscal years or not, but that is in progress as well. And then we're also in progress of looking at our existing fee structure, not impact fees, but fees for service, i.e. for the fire marshal services that we provide this community through our contract with CSG Consultants. So that process is underway as we speak now. Next slide, please. Midterm, we've completed. We established and brought forward to the board last year a 10-year capital improvement plan, helped give us a roadmap for our capital improvement purchases into the future. May recall also part of our capital improvement and purchasing, we do have 2 fire engines that we ordered, and they should be starting construction early this spring with hopeful delivery in a couple months after that, potentially late summer, early fall. In progress, and really this is where we start looking at some of these more financially impactful recommendations. Is as you know and look, the city is experiencing a increase in multi-story apartments, buildings, which is one of the indications that the district's current truck company needs to be replaced, but also with the replacement, as fiscal resources become available, we also need to start looking at how we would staff that truck. When I talk about significant fiscal impacts, in today's dollars, a ladder truck is probably about $2.5 million just for the purchase of the ladder truck. Part of our impact fees are going to help with that, and then as additional revenue comes in through property tax, then we will start looking at strategies for actually staffing the ladder truck. Determining a new site for Station 211 and initiate the process. have been looking at several parcels. Quite honestly, they're fairly substantial in price just for the parcels. But part of the master plan did identify what they determined is the sweet spot for a fire station. So as we're looking at different parcels, we're using one of our reserve firefighters, Captain Bryant, and he's actually refreshing GIS data to determine if those locations would be advantageous for our response times. But I think it's important, while we don't have a parcel identified today, we are making incremental steps behind the scenes to help ensure that we have the fiscal ability to purchase the land or construct the fire station. Unfortunately, two of those steps have been delayed for situations outside of our control, but you may recall we have successfully negotiated terms for a community facilities district for both the Giovanoni project as well as some of the remaining development within Watson Ranch. Those agreements are not signed yet. Hopefully in the next couple months they will be, and then they will be enforceable. But between those two projects, that will bring additional revenue outside, above and beyond property taxes to help offset some of the fiscal impacts of buying the new fire station land as well as the construction of the fire station. Determining additional staff needs, again, that is going to be something that is going to be, as we move forward with a fire station, new fire station, that will be something that is part of the planning process. Quality emphasis on assurance of time and data inputs, that again goes back to our quality assurance for our fire reporting system. And then consider a full-time position for EMS program administration. I don't think we're there yet. We've been fortunate with some of our existing staff. They've taken the leadership role in doing some of our QA, QI on our EMS calls, as well as monthly meetings with or bi-monthly meetings with our paramedics to review calls and constantly strive to improve what is already an exemplary pre-hospital emergency medical care service that we provide here in American Canyon. Next slide, please. So long-term strategies, again, the fire station is one of the biggest, and obviously in conjunction with that is ensuring that the site is also large enough to accomplish the training needs for the fire district. So those are things that we're considering, but we have not taken any action other than what I stated earlier with some of the behind scenes to help facilitate some of the additional financial resources we need to accomplish those goals. And with that, again, this is a team effort. This is not just me or Chief Campbell. This is a district-wide initiative, district effort that we're all working on together to accomplish and build the future for the fire district. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the master plan update. A couple of questions from me. Is it safe to say that the new location for the new firehouse is going to be on the west side of Highway 29?
That is certainly a desire. Obviously, there's some limiting factors there with what land is available, as well as taking into consideration the numerous fault lines that run through American Canyon and so forth. So in a perfect world, it would be nice to have one station located on either side of Broadway. And that is what we're trying to achieve. But unfortunately, there's a lot of limiting factors that are outside of our control. But in a perfect world, yes.
Okay, and then secondly, you mentioned that the new rig that is in production, probably late fall. The current rigs that we have now, what are their status? Are they pretty good operational? Are they staying in the shop? Or do you find it going to the shop often?
One of them requires more maintenance than the other, but we've been pretty fortunate with being able to keep the rigs in service. We do have our truck right now is currently in the shop. It's an older vehicle, and there's some things that have just because of its age that are creating some issues. But we have a good fire mechanic outside of Vacaville that Chief Campbell found, and they're doing some good work on it. So today the rigs are in service and operational, but looking towards the future, that's why we decided to purchase the engines 2 years ago, knowing it would take a little over 2 years to get them constructed and delivered, so that we're not in a position where our first out rigs are constantly broken down and unreliable.
Okay. And I guess the follow-up question to that, would we, repurpose those rigs, would we sell those to maybe a less fortunate city that could utilize a rig like the ones we have now that can't afford a new one? Would we try to get some?
That's to be determined. One of the existing rigs we are going to keep as a reserve engine, a spare engine. But when it comes time to actually declare those engines that we no longer need surplus, we're going to look at all the avenues, whether there's a resale market, the potential to donate them to a community college fire academy. We're going to look at all those before we make that determination and bring it to the board for a recommendation.
Okay, good. That's all the questions I have. Vice Chair Joseph?
Yes, thank you for the report. Just a couple of observations. One, on acquiring the new station, recognizing that's a very expensive thing, we at least have some comfort in the parcel that was acquired, I'm thinking by the old Lena's, but for those people who don't know what the old Lena's was, on the east side of town, as well as the existing parcel off of Melvin, so, or James, I guess.
James, yes.
So hopefully that'll at least make the land acquisition not as much of a challenge, and just building a facility for a few $1 million is all that's left.
Potentially, we've identified that the vacant parcel that we have is really a fallback if we can't find something in a more optimal location. And that's why we haven't declared that parcel surplus or tried to sell it. We own it free and clear, so we're keeping it kind of as a strategy of if all else fails, we still have something, but we would like to find something in a little bit better location to serve the community, especially as the community continues to grow.
And then the James parcel, would it, I mean, it's currently serving a very nice purpose right now, but is that I mean, would that be something that could be surplused and to help offset some of the costs?
It certainly could, potentially into the future, but again, until we have a level of certainty on the new location, we're not looking at getting rid of any of the existing land that we have, just so that we have some options, whether we end up declaring them surplus and selling them to help offset some of the costs. If there may be a developer that has a parcel that we're interested in and they're mutually interested in one of our existing parcels, then maybe there's some opportunities there. We're just trying not to limit ourselves right now, but we are trying to find that perfect location for the next station.
Okay, perfect. The other one is just a side comment. The sidewalk by the James station, 211, the city is also involved in a project on Melvin to build sidewalks for the most part. It might be cost effective to work with the city, with our public works director, to coordinate something so at least they can throw in replacing maybe the sidewalk, maybe not the apron itself, but I'm sure they will hit you up for their fair share of the cost, but it might be easier to have them integrate some of those repairs, because then it's taken care of and you're just writing a check versus the headache of trying to work it all out. So
That's a very good point and worth
just
something that we
FYI
will
on that.
explore, so I appreciate you sharing that.
So, okay. Other than that, everything looks good. I think the biggest challenges seem to be more finance-related than they are organizational, and that's probably a good sign because money is always a headache, but at least everything else is coming along nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, open it up for open comment if we have any.
No, Chair.
Thank you. So there's no more or no open comments. I'd like to close public comment and go back to the board for item number 8 to return to see if you guys have any question. I'll entertain a motion to close it or accept it. Sorry.
If there's no other comments, I'll make a motion to receive and file the report.
I second that.
Thank you. Have a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Board Member Cruz,
Yes.
Board Member Lamatima,
Yes.
Board Member Oro,
Yes.
Vice Chair Joseph,
Yes.
Chair Washington.
Yes. And then moving right along, for Fire Chief's oral report.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of things to update the board on. I'd like to start first with the good news, which is the American Canyon Fire family grew by 1 with the birth of Colby Murchison, the daughter of our firefighter Kyle Murchison and his wife Emily. We had an opportunity to see her. He brought her by the station today, and I think we're going to have to use our OTS funded Jaws of Life to pry her out of Miss Preventure's arms. She took to Colby very quickly and was standing there rocking her, and it was good to see, and I appreciated Kyle and his wife bringing her by the fire station.
Very nice. No picture?
No.
We got to work on that. See the new edition.
What's that?
I think she's either in the newsletter or on a social post.
Okay, yeah. Then also our you may recall several years ago, we brought forward a new job classification here to the American Canyon Fire District, which was a paramedic firefighter trainee position, which was a strategy to help try to bring more paramedic numbers up and really targeting paramedics that have been working in the private ambulance world and because of their life situation didn't have the ability to attend a firefighter academy. So we did a recruitment for that, and just recently extended a unconditional job offer to Manuel Conte. He comes from Fresno, really excited, and he will, as part of our longstanding working relationship with Vallejo Fire Department, he will be attending their accredited fire academy starting February 10th. It's about a 20-week academy, I think 20 weeks and 2 days to be exact. And upon his successful completion of that academy, then we will roll him into a probationary firefighter paramedic here with American Canyon. Obviously, the fires down south have really captured the headlines of recent. We did send one of our engines and 3 of our firefighters down for a week as part of a strike team to help assist the Eaton fire. They are now back home safely, and we were glad to be able to help the communities down south in their time of need. In keeping with the theme of Heart Safe Month for February, we recently completed a hands-only CPR training at American Canyon High School, where we were able to train approximately 650 students in hands-only CPR. Obviously, the holidays have since passed, but it's worth noting that as we traditionally have, we participated in the Toys for Tots program, and over 300 children within American Canyon were able to receive toys for Christmas. That's a partnership. We help collect the toys, and then our partnering agency actually determines who receives the toys in the distribution. But it's always nice to bring some holiday cheer to the members of the community around the holidays. And with that, that wraps up my chief's report for tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
I don't have any questions, board. Any questions?
I do have one question, Chief. Any of the members of the audience, are they from the strike team that actually assisted with the Eden? I just want to thank you for your service. Welcome back. Thank you. That's all I got, Chief.
Thank you, and thank you for that report. And I as well want to acknowledge that all of the firefighters who are here tonight, I just want to say thank you guys for what you do for the community. I know earlier you guys had to run out to do something, so hopefully everything went well tonight. So, but glad you're back and you guys are all safe. Well, that actually concludes our business for this evening. We are adjourned. Good night, American Canyon.
Thank you.
Oh, were you?